쇼키라서.
I have a lot of questions about this film, and I'll actually start just by asking about kind of where this film picks up after X-Men Apocalypse, because it's set about a decade later. I'm curious just about the process of kind of filling that gap and where we're going to see these characters again.
I think the biggest difference between this movie and where we left them at the end of Apocalypse is that at the end of Apocalypse, you remember it's sort of the beginning of the X-Men. Really, the Apocalypse was the origin story of the X-Men in many ways. And this is 10 years later, and they are now a superhero team. They are a publicly known, beloved, trusted superhero team. That's something we've never seen in these X-Men movies before. They've been persecuted and oppressed and hidden, and this is for the first time them, as they often are in the comics, as a known superhero team.
Yeah. Well, they obviously have great face cream.
Yeah, because they don't age a bit in 10 years.
No, it's fun. I mean, we were just talking about that in the previous interview, how much fun it is that it does take that 10-year leap every time you do a new film. So you get to explore, a lot changes in 10 years. So you always get to explore a different version of the character, which is really exciting. And I think in this film especially, like there are a lot of characters are doing something really different that they haven't done before.
To tell the truth, I just took the approach where I'm like, okay, so now Nightcrawler has been through a hell of a lot of missions, a hell of a lot of stuff. They've bonded more. Kind of just started there. Boom, the script's in front of you. Went for it from there. Yeah, I could have made it a lot more difficult for myself, but that's the best way to go.
I think that we are very lucky with this franchise that we have so much source material to go off of. So, I mean, like, you could literally just pull, like, one comic off the shelf, and that could have been, like, your backstory. That was the last big fight, that led us up to this moment. And I think that we're really lucky because of that, because, we can dive into it and make our own specific choices on what we like or what we don't want.
And are Gene and Scott different people?
I think, in a happier, more content place in themselves and in their powers. And as a couple, they're very happy. They're very much in love.
And then, shit hits the fan.
And then shit hits the fan.
Look at me. Focus on my voice. I'm not giving up on you, Gene. You're my family, Gene. Stop. No matter what. Stop.
So, well, when you kind of first got the script, like, what was it that kind of like took you by surprise? I mean, obviously can't talk about spoilers, but just kind of what really kind of drew you in?
I think what I loved was the fact that, from a female standpoint, some of the most powerful characters in this movie are women, and the lead of the movie is a female, and she's not only the protagonist but also the antagonist, and I loved the concept of that, so that really excited me.
Oh, I'll let you go.
For me, I was really excited to explore not only how we all react to Jean kind of becoming Dark Phoenix, but also I was really excited to kind of get up on those wires and get those stunts going and start like throwing hail and traveling through lightning and doing like really cool, edgy stuff. And so I was really excited about all of my stunts mostly.
There's definitely a moment in this movie where Nightcrawler goes from that vulnerable, very innocent kind of archetype where the trauma that happens in front of him and all the things that he can't really help build up and ultimately create a savage in him, and he switches. So I really look forward to playing that, and I think we pulled it off nicely.
We spoke a lot of about addiction and like how addiction, we wanted to take addiction and really use it as kind of a starting point, and how addiction can affect families. And so I think the dynamics are very similar to something like that in this movie.
Yeah, it was very interesting. We used addiction, we used schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder to kind of ground these, supernatural, fantastical things and ground them into reality and make it resonate with people a lot more.
What they don't understand, what they fear, and what they fear, we seek to destroy.
And I know that you can't say too much about what her role actually is, but I do want to ask about just your opportunity working with Jessica Chastain, because it does seem like her character has a very close relationship with Jean in this story.
Yeah, she does. I think, for the first time, Jean kind of finds kind of a home in Jessica's character, because she's really one of the very few characters that accepts Jean for her kind of crazy powers. And encourages her to embrace them rather than reject them. And so Jean finds a lot of comfort in that and a lot of validation in her.
Is there trust there?
A little bit.
Okay. Is it fair to assume that we will not hear who this character is before the film comes out? If that's the plan?
The plan is to keep it mysterious as long as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I loved growing up watching movies, and the most seminal movies for me growing up were the Star Wars films. And what I loved about them is I had no idea what was going to happen when I walked into the theater. What we've tried to do, Hutch and I both produced Logan, and part of what we really tried to do with that film, and we're trying to do with this, is retain some of that mystery, retain some of the experience of going into the cinema, not knowing everything about the movie before you see it, and just sort of having it be the kind of experience we had growing up.
This is your fault, Charles. I tried to protect her.
I'm scared. When I lose control, bad things happen to people I love.
Huh? What did he say?
See, she's great.
That was a lovely introduction.
Hey, I'm excited for you guys to be here. This
Got
is
me
fantastic.
excited.
We all had to do 0G, which was a little
Kinda
weird.
looks like this.
Yeah, it's like. Kinda ridiculous. Hopefully they fix that in post.
Love the Deadpool t-shirt.
Yeah, thank you.